account in the testimony, but look at the testimony.
Oh yeah, that's a good testimony. And then she say she's still waiting on that.
That's her investment account.
Right.
Now we got a question though. We still in the 10%. We got some questions about this 10%, but another of the 10%. We got a question about the third 10%. What is the third 10%?
Okay, the question about the third 10% is the debt.
Okay,
the third 10% is the debt.
Right.
Do you get a debt consolidator?
Okay, so we got two questions here. Your debt consolidation question, and you've got your question. How to, well, we need to talk out your question about the debts. Okay, we need to talk about, so your question, can you verbalize your question? Because this is this whole episode, this whole class session is a Q&A on debt, 10% in debt, right? Let's talk about how do you get out of debt using 10%, using 10, 10, 10.
Correct.
That's what we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay, good. So, let's verbalize your question real quick. We're gonna answer the only two questions we're gonna answer.
Okay, I've been paying every month to someone who loaned me some money, and I realized that it wasn't the 10% debt that we've been talking about.
Okay, so last episode you realized, or last little section, you realized that you were doing 10, 10, 80.
Yes.
And not 10, 10, 10, 7.
Right.
So we're gonna talk out the hardships of how you're gonna have to adjust.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna talk that out, because that's gonna leave us some real questions, and make sure y'all ask questions in that, because this is a real life situation, and she's gonna have a real life number crunch, and she's gonna have to, she's got the discipline, but now she's gonna have to go, oh, I can't go to Florida, or whatever it is, right? Okay, good. So we're gonna air that out.
Yes.
But let's get to your debt, because that's easy, okay? So debt consolidation is one way, it's the approved way. It's not the way that I would personally do it. But what do you mean by debt consolidation? Like, what are you talking about, your credit? Is that what you're trying to fix your credit, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I use a company. Now, I don't get paid for this company. I don't have an affiliate account with this company, meaning that I'm not gonna send you their website / my customer number or whatever. This is totally free, reputable company. This is just what I personally use. Does this make sense? I use Lexington Law, okay? LEXINGTON, LexingtonLaw.com. Okay, that's the website. Same company. Been using them since 2008. Here's what they do. I forget the name of the act. It's like Fair Credit Act or whatever. Credit bureaus must have 100% of your information on file. But here's how it works. What happens is, when they write you off, well, let me back up a little bit. You have, your credit score is dependent upon a few factors. It is dependent upon 35% of your payment history. That means on-time payments. Another 35% is the debt that you have. Okay, so that's 70%. And the other 30% is, let's just call it miscellaneous. Credit inquiries, some different factors in there too, right? So, but the big chunk of your credit is how often you pay on time and the debt that you have. Lexington Law doesn't say that you don't have anything on your credit that is not yours. You're not disputing if it's yours. You're doing what they call an item verify request. Okay, now I won't go into the details of how they do it. I'll let them do that. But here's what that means. You're just simply writing a creditor, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Okay, you're writing the three creditors, the big three. Hey, my name is such and such, and I'm just verifying that all the items are here. Now, I can get to what I was getting ready to tell you. What happens is, after Sprint writes you off on their debt, well, let's use something that works. You said Capital One last time? Let's use Capital One, that's a revolving account. Revolving account means something that continuously refreshes every single month. Fixed, a credit card. Credit card is a revolving account. Fixed account is something that you have a fixed term with. Car note, house note. I've signed fixedly for 60 months. Now, hopefully you're not signing 60 months car notes. you're paying far too much for that car, which means you have bad credit, and which means somebody's making a lot of money off of you. And so you want us to take a $13,000 car, and you want to pay it $29,000, $30,000 for it because it made the payments cheaper, but the interest rates got you. Which means that you're going to pay for that car for 3 years before you actually touch the principal on that car. You just pay interest. So if you ever get into a position, listen, if you ever get into a position to where you're paying 60 month car notes, that's 5 years. Don't get that car. It is not that serious. Go find another. You know what I'm saying? Because the interest rate is killing it. But anyway, I said all to say, so a fixed rate is a 30-year mortgage, okay? A 5-year car. I'm just using these extreme terms because a lot of mortgages now on 30 years, you can get 15. Well, anyway, right? You can get 15, 10. Yeah, you can get all that, right? But either way, that's fixed. Now, when you don't pay, it goes to 30 days late, and then the very worst is 90 days late. And they write the creditors call it derogatory. Okay, like derogatory. It's a negative, massive hit on your credit. Okay, on your credit. And I've even seen them say 6 months. Right? It's on your credit, 120 days late. It's awful. Now you're saying so that's there. It's killing your credit. So when you debt consolidate, what happens is you don't get the on-time payment history anymore because they wrote you off. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Come here. They wrote you off. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you can't, all you have is the debt.
Right.
But you don't get the on. So that means when you pay your hard-earned money, I'm not telling you not to pay back. You have to pay back your debt. People are going to tell you to pay back your debt. But when you start paying off your credit, and you're going, man, it's not increasing my credit score. Mm-hmm. It's because the formula isn't working on your behalf. Mm-hmm. You're taking care of the debt, but getting canceled by the on-time payment. You know what I'm saying? This is right.
Yeah.
Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So this is also why paying at least the minimum credit card due, even if it's $11 on your bill, works because it keeps your on-time history paid. But if the credit card bill is, well, it doesn't have to be super high. If you're using 70% of your credit, that's fine. If you're using 70% of your credit, right? You can move the whole camera. If you're moving 70% of your credit, right, then you can, it messes you up. You don't want to use 70% of your credit. You can just fix it back. It's okay. We're a live show. They understand. It's all right. All right. You getting this knowledge. That's what you're gonna get. You got the babies and getting their families over here learning how to be creative. Yeah. She training her son while he's yet young.
Train up a child.
All right. So basically, debt consolidation is always the best way because of formula. Remember, I said it earlier or the last episode. They'll teach you to repay your debt, but not then go outside of that and then oppress you, keep you a customer.
Right.
With other principles. So, the lesson to law does item verify request. Here's what that means. Hey, listen, such and such, I'm just making sure all the items are here. The reason why you do that, when it happens with the federal government, is all the items have to be there for them to hold your debt. You got what you call scavenger credit people, okay? That's not the scavenger credit people is what I'm going to call them, right? They're scavenger hunters, they're scavengers. They buy your debt for pennies on a dollar. And then these are the rude people that call.
That's the one that threaten you?
These are the ones that threaten you, say they're going to lawsuit against you. See, Capital One wouldn't act like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are the people who represent capitalists because they tell you all these lies. They tell you they're going to come to your house. Nobody can come to your house. Nobody can arrest you for something civil.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's a civil matter. That's not, the judicial system is split in civil and criminal. Okay? That's a civil matter. That's not a criminal matter. That's not you can still get a felony, but that's not you just hurt somebody physically. You know what I'm saying? They told
you can get a felony for bad credit?
You can get a felony for writing bad checks.
Oh, okay.
Which takes that civil matter into a criminal matter. Right? So there is a wash here. But if you're, and you can get a felony, you can get in trouble for not paying, when the court mandates you to pay a lawsuit, and you don't do it, now that falls into the criminal side. Because now you're disobeying the court, you know what I'm saying? And they can't hold you in contempt or hold you, whatever, whatever the judge wants to do at that time. So basically, Lexington Law, just look it up, I gave you the website, lexingtonlaw.com. They're verifying items. When they don't have them, and the way most of it works is there's a little, these guys buy your debt with a little Excel spreadsheet. Like literally, like Microsoft Excel. And nobody even uses Microsoft Excel. And even when they do it, it's not even used correctly. Like people on it, right? And so if you're missing just one item, by law, they have to take it off your credit. Now what that has done by law, by federal law, go ahead.
So when a collector calls you and they say, okay, so we just need to verify some items on your account.
Yes.
It's best if you don't verify because that means that they can leave it on your credit.
For another 7 years. Yes.
Okay.
So every time you verify, you are admitting this is my debt.
Right.
So that's
And they're getting all of the pieces of information that they need.
That's right. They could be doing that, and you're reinstituting that debt to stay on your credit. Why does this hurt? Because now, when it's a debt, you got two things that are killing you on your credit report. If you have the debt, that's obviously the debt. But that debt also has the on time or late, or the payment history is what it's called. So you got both every debt that's on your credit has the amount of the debt plus your payment history. That's 70% of your credit card. 70% of your credit report in one thing. If there's debt, there's also payment history. Does that make sense?
Right.
So all this makes sense. You can understand it.
Yes.
You can't create your own account if you don't understand credit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So here's the deal. If you have the debt, you also have the payment history.
Right.
Now, if you, this is why Lexington Law is so powerful. When you do that, and you don't have to use them. You can actually do this yourself without using them, without paying any fees. It just takes the time, right? I pay for convenience, okay, for somebody to monitor and stay on top of me, right? As I write my letters. You know what I'm saying? But they have to, again, I don't want to get into their details because it's a law firm, and I don't want to say because it's going to go viral, right? And I don't want to get sued, right? By putting you go consult with them. I know how it works, but I don't want to tell you how it works because I don't know who's watching.
Right.
But I'm telling you, go look at their approved website and the approved videos. So I don't talk. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not I'm not a fiduciary. Okay, and that's something we talked about last time. Which so you want to get your fiduciary, but I'll tell you about that when that comes up. Either way, when they wipe off your credit, they're wiping off two things. Now, it can work in your favor, it cannot. They automatically wipe off the debt, which is a good thing.
They wipe it off the payment history.
And they also wipe off the payment history. If you had good payment history, then that kind of hurts. But more than likely, if it's a negative derogatory hit on your credit,
You had bad payment.
you didn't have good payment history. You
Right.
had some good,
Right.
but then you went down and down and down. So when they wipe it off, they wipe off both the debt and the payment history, thus increasing your credit. Does that make sense?